you dancing light and heavy smoke? Have you fixed that treasured heart that's all broke? Here is a tape, follow me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody is listening? Heaven is getting closer to the earth, and someday I'll set you free, I promise. There's no time to lose, the world is closing in, and we're still here. We are, so what's the rush? Feeling like a dream. Who will we be crying for tonight? We lost but never found. Fear is not around. We can't turn this world around. This will be the end of treason as we know it. This will be the death of anger, 'cause we won't show it. Here isn't safe, follow me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody's listening? Heaven is getting closer to the earth, and someday I'll set you free, I promise. There's no time to lose, the world is closing in, and we're still here. We are, so what's the rush? Feeling like a dream. Who will we be crying for tonight? We lost but never found. Fear is not around. We can't turn this world around.
What's up, big fam? Return to live streams finally. Been wanting to do this for a while, but health and life and everything else has just continuously kind of gotten in the way, so just kind of put it on hold. Trying to get back to doing it every week, every Tuesday 8 p.m. So next Tuesday will be Boromania. I've pretty much been borrowed out the last few weeks. Once I just kind of stayed away from the RTA like borrow bridges, except for the ones I know I do actually like. I've absolutely been loving it. See who's all in chat. Dusty Country Roads, Kip, Mowgli, what's up, brother? Sholto, what's up? Cicero, I think, is in and out. I think he got stuck at work, sounds like, but he was going to try and sneak in some. So tonight, I'm super excited for this because I received the Ampere21 Midnight Edition mechanical mod from EDC Modz on Saturday. I opened the USPS box that it came in just to make sure it was what it was supposed to be, and then let it sit, because I wanted this whole stream to be nothing but first impression. So it'll be all my first experience messing with it, trying it out, seeing it, all of that, and let you guys see that. So I really excited to open all this up. I'm going to kind of wait a little bit before we unwrap everything and take a look at what all they sent along. Just see a few more people show up in the chat. But right now in the vape world, there is a ton of stuff about to get released. You've got the new, and I'm going to mention a couple of Modz things. Think whatever you want about Mod, but they do have a couple of things that interest me at the moment. The new, was it Mod AIO or .AIO? Is it the V2, the X? I can't remember. But the new one of that actually looks really, really sick. Then they've got the new .X RDA, and that one interests me more than the .AIO, if I'm honest. So I don't know. I probably won't get the .AIO. I'm not a huge fan of the .AIO kind of Boro tank format. It looks cool, but probably not something I'm going to invest in. The .RDA X or .X RDA, for sure, I want to get my hands on that and give that a try. So hopefully we'll have a review for that down the road. Also, Geek Vape is about to release the Tsunami Reborn Z, which looks like it's actually supposed to be more of a restrictive direct lung RDA. It says it can do direct lung, but just looking at it and how it's designed, seems like it's probably more for restrictive direct lung, which is not bad. It's kind of interesting to have an RDA that's pretty much focused on that. So that one will be pretty interesting. You've got the Blaze just released. I actually have mine on the way. Actually, I have a funny story about the Blaze. So if you guys know Izzy over on Instagram, he's a coil maker. He hit me up, I guess the day that Element Vape put the Blaze AIO up on their site. And the price tag that was on it's YouTube, so I'm not going to mention prices, but half of what you go and look at it now. So saw it and said that can't be right. Went ahead, stuck it in my cart, ordered it. It was right. Maybe 12 hours later, they had upped it. They doubled the price of it and all of that. So I think I accidentally got one over on Element Vape, but you know, hey, that's on them. That's their mistake. So yeah, I ended up getting it for about half the price that it actually is supposed to be. What else is coming up? There's a bunch of stuff about to get released. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this one. The Dreamer Clutch from Times Vape. This thing looks absolutely amazing. It's basically the Dreamer 1.5 body, except it's a little larger. It has multiple threaded top caps. I know it's at least 25 and 28 millimeter top caps. Then the switch is a modified version of the heavy hitter switch. It looks really cool. The button, I think, is either some type of Ultim or something like that. Maybe similar to kind of the, what is it, the PIE or PEI switches that they released for the Dreamer. Basically the stop hot button, things like that the Dreamer definitely had a lot of issues with if you built low. So I'm pumped to try that one out. I'm really hoping, considering the switch is very heavy hitter like, it doesn't have that shifting nature to it the way the heavy hitter did, where if you're firing it, it would just kind of slowly shift and then eventually you go to hit it and it would have already hit that locking mechanism and it wouldn't fire and you'd have to turn it back. Hopefully that's not an issue with the clutch. It does sound like that was part of the feedback they got, that everyone wanted a locking switch but didn't want the drift that was in the heavy hitter switch. So hopefully that all got fixed. Times of Vape is actually saying that Stan was involved in this. They had a post on Instagram saying that it was created by Stan. So I don't know. I haven't seen Stan post anything about it, but it would be really cool if he was actually involved in it. I would feel even better about it, I think. Let's see what's going on in chat. David Nance, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing good. You know of any single 21700 IP68 rated mods? My Hyperion has went over the Rainbow Bridge. Single battery 21700 mods. I would have to look around, honestly, because for the most part, as far as regulated mods go that are 21700, I usually only use dual battery. The Hour21, the Hadron Plus here are my main go-tos. The Hour21 is pretty much the only one I take out and about. The Hadron Plus is mainly to me for pulsing and pinching, resistance reading, things like that. But I'm such a mechanical mod person, and I guess now I'm a Boro person, which is really weird to me, but I'm liking it. So yeah, I don't use regulated devices too much unless it's a Squonk or a Boro, but I will look around if I can find something, or maybe somebody in chat will hook you up with an answer to that. I will put it in the comments of this video a little bit later. Birdman, what's going on, brother? I was hoping you might show up. So smorgasbord going on. Still vaping the Cathilla from Death Wish Mods. I got the Dead Rabbit on top, Dead Rabbit 3. My butter cookie custard on the inside. I use this thing daily. This has become a daily banger for me. Then the rest of what I've been vaping on, other than I've got the Vindicator with the Asgard Mini on top. That is my 100% daily banger. That's what I take to work with me, all that shit. But a bunch of Boro stuff. The Xeon with the Ponte on the inside. Got my sour strawberry recipe in here. Very good. The Son AIO drip tip here comes from Nick's Tips. It's on here because it really didn't work with anything else. I mean, it worked with the Pulse AIOs and the Cthulhu that I have, but it didn't match up. Doesn't really match up with this, but I've been looking into getting some orange panels for the Son from Obey Robot, and purple and orange will go together if it's the right shades of each, and I think that they'll work. So hoping so. If not, I definitely want to get a black one of these, and I'll just transfer all that over to the new one. Then the Taran Boro Mech with the Atemporal. Got a single ohms coils Mohawk in here. I thought it was going to spit like crazy. Flavor wouldn't be all that great because the one time I tried Mohawk coils before, it was just spit city. Flavor wasn't very good at all. But this is the complete opposite of that. No spit back. Flavor's been amazing. Really been enjoying it. Got some Candy King's lemon drops in here. I'm digging it. I'm digging Boros. It's weird, but I'm kind of glad I'm digging Boros because I had so much stuff from reviews and things like that. It felt like waste. Birdman, you living the dream. Timing was perfect for lunch. Nice. Need to try a Mohawk. I would definitely recommend ohms coil. I would recommend ohms coils for any coil you want to try out or you need. Ohms Coils is the place to go. In my opinion, he's the best coil maker out there right now. And I never thought I would really put anybody up above Twisted Timmy, just because I love Timmy's Fralians so much and his Lucky 7s, the 2.5 millimeter Lucky 7s. But Liam over Ohms Coils has just consistently blown me away. I've not run into a dud yet. Every coil I've tried has been amazing. Waiting on the forged mech to get here. Hell yeah. See here. Glad you're in a good mood. If you're talking to me, I'm glad I'm in a good mood too. I'm in a good mood because I get to open up the Ampere21 and it's been sitting for days just staring at me. Like, you know, you want to open me up. Glad to see you're back in action. I'm glad to be back in action. What is up, the janitor? Hopefully, like I said before, hopefully live streams will continue. I'm not going to promise it just because with my schedule, shit gets in the way all the time. But I'm going to try my best to have one live stream every week, and I'm going to shoot for Tuesdays. If something happens and I can swap it to a different day, I'll let you guys know. But for the most part, I'm going to shoot for Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Like I said, next week will be Boromania. Ohms coils. Mohawks are fucking sensational. Yeah, they are. I did not think they were going to be. He sent them to me actually a while back. I ordered a bunch of Fralians, some interlock aliens, interlock Fralians, and some series aliens. And then he was like, hey, I want you to try these Mohawks. And he sent them on to me. And then they just kind of sat because I was just like, ugh, Mohawks. Last time I tried those, it was awful. But I'm glad I just went ahead and said, hell with it. Let's throw one in the atemporal because it's worked absolutely amazing. I have to agree that Timmy is the best coil smith out there. I don't know. I would say Ohms Coils. Liam's the best coil smith out there, but Timmy's right there with him. I really like Twisted Timmy's coils, but I've become definitely an Ohms Coils user for sure. I just ordered up a ton of his interlock Fralians. He finally got some more on the site. As soon as he did, I ordered up like 8 sets. All right. It's just over here yelling at me. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We'll look at it. Then we're going to build up the Drift RDA with some Ohms Coils, interlock aliens. I've got the Dani V2 already with some Twisted Timmy's series aliens in there. We're going to do a wick job on it. But here is the package that it came in. Ampere21 Midnight. Looks like I got serial number 5. Comes in this nice carrying case. Let's open this up. Whoop. Oh. So, carrying case. Extremely cool. I'm actually going to take this on vacation with me now that I see this. Comes with shoulder strap. See what all is in this bad boy. Plenty of pockets galore. Doesn't look like they stuck much. As the logo comes off, it's Velcro. Guess that's interesting. Then there's straps on the side, I guess to keep the zipper from accidentally going down too much. Pull all this out. I thought they were sending something else along with this, but I don't see it in here. They had mentioned sending along their 3D printed waterproof battery holsters. They're 21700 battery holsters. They've showed them off on Instagram, but I don't see them in this package. So I'm guessing they did not send it along, or maybe sent it separate. If they did send it separate, once I get it, we'll take a look. Let's go the up and close here. All right, so you get, I think this is the stack section. Let's set some of this stuff out. Pretty sure that is the primary mechanical mod. This looks like serial number coin, Ampere21 serial number 5. All copper, I dig that. Bag with some O-rings. There should be, I think this also might have, yeah, titanium screws in it. Make sure there wasn't something in the other one. Nope. Then you've got, I don't know if this one is, I think this one might be silver. This is the fire button. There's the EDC Modz badge there. Very cool. And I'm going to crack this one open, because they have this all kinds of wrapped up. Give me just a second, because this is the one I really want to show you guys. Oh, wait. It must be on the mod. Okay. Well, this one looks like it was sealed. Let me cut this open. Try and get this out. So this one is copper. I'm not sure. This may just be stainless steel. I have to look at it a little closer. It looks like you get copper, stainless steel, that, and there should be one more button here. And I'm assuming this is contact piece, the copper one. And there is the Ampere21 Midnight Edition. I love this mechanical mod. It looks absolutely amazing. Top there. I can get it to focus. And on the bottom, looky there. I did the Vaporworks Lab little smiley face logo engraved into the button. He actually wanted me to send him like a stenciled version of this, just a black and white. And the way that I created this logo did not really start with that, so I had to kind of figure out a way to make one. And I think he's a little worried because of all the detail in kind of the skull jaw portion here. But he did an absolutely amazing job. I love that. All right, let's take a look at the stack section. Pop this open. And there we go. Uh-oh, more goodies on the inside, it looks like. Ah, spacer. Looks like this is lined with Ultim, perhaps. That's cool. All right. And of course you get the polishing cloths with the EDC Modz logo. Love that. Set these off to the side here. Take a look at this switch. The threads on this are buttery smooth. Love the look of that switch. And this top piece should also screw off. So you've got it lined there as well for safety. I'm assuming that's some type of Ultim. What it feels like. And then again, lined on the inside. Dig that. I love the little touches for just some added extra safety. You got some venting. Both sides here. And again, threading is just buttery smooth. Now, I thought this was supposed to be copper, but this looks like it may be stainless steel, possibly silver. I think stainless steel. I'll actually have to check with them on which it is, but I think it's stainless steel. So I'm digging this. It looks absolutely amazing. I love that switch. All right, let's see how you get this apart. Because I am not real sure. Assuming it unscrews. Well, maybe not. And I don't believe there's any kind of manual to it. I have not looked at anybody's reviews of this. Maybe it just pops off here. Yep. Nice. Held on by an O-ring. Contact portion here looks like all Ultim. Copper contact. Guessing it just pops out. Yep. Very nice. And there's your contact piece. As far as getting this off, I'm going to assume it just screws off. Honestly, I'm not real sure. Hmm. Just trying to look at it and figure out how exactly this thing comes apart. Silvered copper. Okay, thank you very much. Nice. I like that even better. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I knew it looked like silver, but I've been wrong before in that department. So that is even better than a copper one. Hell yeah. How do I get this switch apart? If I want to change out these, I just have to take that O-ring off and it pops out. Let's try that. Wow. I don't want to damage that O-ring. Of course, I just had it. I don't want to scratch this copper up either. There we go. That's actually pretty interesting design right there. So the O-ring is thick and just holds it into place. So all you have to do is take the O-ring off. It pops right out. There's your spring. You can swap it for one of the other buttons if you want. You know, I'm not going to do that because I love this right here. But I'm assuming the silvered copper is also this button. I will probably definitely try this button out. I mean, I'll try all buttons out, but as far as actually using it on a regular basis, it will probably be this and then that silvered copper button. I dig this design. I'm very impressed by the threading and the machining. All you gotta do, I guess, put it back in, pop your O-ring back on, and you're good to go. It's on there good. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I scratched up some of the copper. That's my fault. It's a very smooth switch too. It's like a belt or pocket clip. When I first saw this, I thought this converted somehow to a side fire. I guess it was wishful thinking. I don't really know how they would have actually done that, but I love the look of it. I'm not big on throwing a mechanical mod in my pocket, but still just the aesthetic of it, I really, really dig. That knot pattern is absolutely gorgeous. Cerakoting job on this feels absolutely amazing. A lot of times, like with say something like the Dreamer or the Keen, if you got a black Cerakoted version, and granted this is a much more high-end product than those two, the Cerakoting just felt off, and it showed that it was off by wearing away very, very easily. This seems very, very high quality. I love all that lining in there too. All right, stop gawking over it. That just pushes down. So it's all held by O-rings. The switch is just held together by O-rings. So it's almost toolless to take this whole switch apart if you can get that O-ring off without needing a tool. But I dig that a lot. And they send you a bunch of extra O-rings. They look pretty standard size O-rings. So if you ever wore them out or something like that, I would say you could probably buy an O-ring kit and it would have the correct diameter and thickness you would need. Or reach out to EDC Modz. I'm sure they could point you in the right direction or help you out. Man, I love that button. All right. Like, just look at that. That's good threading. If I can just spin it and it halfway just keeps going, that's some amazing manufacturing work. Love that. All right, set these off to the side. Let's go ahead, because I want to use this. Let's go ahead and build up the drift. Got the drift right here. Actually, I'm gonna move some of this stuff so the camera doesn't freak out too bad. This is an amazing RDA. Love this thing. And it still blows me away that how much I like this RDA, and it's a two-post design. I'm normally not a fan of two-post deck designs, but it works so well here. You have that wide opening, kind of Kennedy-like, and just how well and easily it works and is to install coils. All right, let's see here. Anyone new pop into chat? Mini backpack is cool as fuck. It really is. I'm definitely taking that on vacation with me. Probably won't take this just because I would be worried I would hurt it, and I don't ever want to do that. But I am taking a couple of mechanical mods with me, so they are definitely going to go in that backpack along with some extra things. Thick boy, yeah, it is. It's really nice. If I was into mech mods, that is, like the look. Yeah, I love the look of this thing. They did an absolutely amazing job. All right, let's put some coils in here so we can test it out. I'm gonna use some ohms coils. This right here, he has a mech pack. They're normally limited quality or quantity on his site. Definitely not limited quality, limited quantity on his site, but he seems like he's kind of re-upping on the mech pack pretty regularly. Just comes with a bunch of different types of coils for mechanical mods, for aliens, small mass aliens, interlock aliens, tasers, things like that. Know you're a fan of Drop 1.5. Local brick and mortar shop had them on clearance for $5 each, so I cleared them out. Have 11 of them in my drawer now. I do like the Drop 1.5 a lot. I like the original Drop too. If you guys if you guys know who Lumi is, she shows up on Fresh's DIY mixing channel a lot. Never gonna get these open. I'm just gonna cut this open. There was a shop. I actually got this right here, an original Dead Rabbit, still sealed in the package. From, I think it was called like Wet Vape, something like that. They had a bunch of Drop V1s, and Lumi like cleaned them out. I don't remember how many she got, but it was a lot. All right, I'm gonna pre-cut these just because I found that it's easier. I think I got so used to those drifter coils from CNC, and they're pre-cut to 6. So I've just been pre-cutting my coils. See if it'll focus in on these. These are the interlock aliens from Ohms Coils. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Didn't mean to say limited quality. Definitely not that. So with the Ampere21, it will hold upwards of a 30mm atomizer. The drift is 28, but we're going to use Beauty Ring, which pumps it up to 30. All right, for this, with these, we got to kind of spread our legs apart. What she said. Hoping these will work with this. And not jank them up too bad. We'll definitely have to pinch them. But this should work. I can get that. There we go. All right. Well, all right. I think that's about got it. We'll have to adjust some. I always kind of drop them down to where my coiling rod is just sitting, and the coil I can just do like that, and it's touching. The coiling rod's touching. I think that'll work pretty well. Look a lot better now that I've kind of straightened them out. Let me tighten this down a little bit more. Coming out to 0.07 at the moment. These should come out to about 0.08, 0.09, somewhere in there. Hey, Sorteal in chat, just got home from a night out, seeing you live. Hope you're well. Cloud Chucker, I'm doing great, especially now that I've been able to see this, and I'll be doing even better once I can give it a go. All right. May sizzle a little bit. I clean this up, so there may still be a little damp. Being that these are interlocks, I'm not really just going to kind of hold the fire button down to light them up. I've got it a little lower wattage than I normally would for something coming out to 0.07, but it's basically because I don't want to fuse the interlock aspect to these coils. Looks like they're glowing pretty even. Honestly, I never, with this RDA, as of yet, I have not had like one coil glow quicker than the other, really. If it has, it's been just barely. All right. I'm at the 0.09. Looks good. We're going to use some BP Modz Pro Vape Cotton for this one. On the Dani, when we rewick it with the series coils in it, I'm going to use some Cloud 9 just because it does better with heat resistance. And that's really what you need for a series build. Something that can withstand all that power for a good long while. Try not to rush myself through this because I want to try this mech out so badly. For the price of what you pay for this, as far as what's on EDC Modz site, you get a lot and very high quality for the price tag. I would have assumed they could have charged $100 more easy and still sold out of everything eventually. This is very cool. I've been pretty much cheerleading for EDC Modz since I started talking to them. When they first kind of were showing off the drift on Instagram, my thought was, that looks really cool. Plus it was an American / Filipino company, American designed and owned, I think, and then manufactured in the Philippines. And when I started talking to them, their philosophy I really, really dug. They wanted to kind of bring back the glory days of, 2015, 2016, even 2014, where there was a lot of us and it felt like much more of a community. It still feels like a community, but right now it feels like a community that's fighting for its life, because we are. But they were very big on the community aspect and wanting to kind of bring everyone together, offer products that DIY enthusiasts wanted. And every conversation I had with them was always great. I had a little too much wick in this, but it'll work just fine. Actually looks pretty good. All right, now what liquid to use? I think I'm going to use my vanilla pudding and cookie recipe. It's basically vanilla pudding with like vanilla wafers in it. It's very, very good. Not too long ago, I switched over to 60/40 BG-PG blend. I was a 50/50 guy, or not 50/50. I was a 70/30 guy forever, and switched over to 60/40 just to get a little bit more of a flavor kick. But then also where I've been using Boros, 60/40 works a little bit better in Boro tanks than 70/30. Crank this up a little bit more. And then clean it up some. Our ohms coil is really good. I finally went on their site the other day and was blown away by the pricing. Still my first year of vaping, so I'm trying to understand why some coils cost 10 times more. It just depends on what the coil maker wants to charge, honestly. But yeah, ohms coils are the best coils I've ever come across, especially his interlock aliens, interlock fraliens, his SFCs, and his alien tasers. All right. Do it just a bit more. The Dani cap. What am I doing? I don't know if I'll be able to. There we go. All right. Line this up a little better. I don't want it tightened down too much because I got to get it off here. O-ring popped. I think that's where I washed it. Let me get a little liquid on there and on the inside of this. There we go. All right, let's jump back up top. We'll vape on it this way for just a minute and then we will swap it over. Just want to make sure not getting any shorts or anything like that, and crank the wattage up some before we slap it on there. Usual safety precautions. So 0.09, start out at 95 watts. A teeny more. There we go. Needs more power. That tastes amazing. All right, now I'm impatient, so let's crank this 120. As long as we don't get any shorts this way, I think we're fine to slap it on the Ampere21. Oh yeah. Go ahead, take it off here, grab beauty ring. Clean it off just a little bit. We'll take a look at it in the up close with the drift on top. This is all murdered out. I've got the black EDC Modz drip tip as well. Oh yeah, that looks sick. This is a little darker because it's had liquid on it, things like that before, and this never has. I love that, the look of this. Looks absolutely sick. All right. So a Molicel P45B in here. So this is silvered copper. So the mod button is copper. Man, I love those threads. You can, for as long as that threading is for the switch, you can just spin it so quick and get it on there. All right, there we go. With, of course, the Vaporworks Lab smiley face button. Uh-oh. What is up with that? Oh yeah. Bad thing I've already noticed, which is unfortunate. It may require not using monocell batteries, is battery rattle. I'm pretty bad with the monocells. Yeah, let me make sure I haven't done something wrong here with this top. May not have had it tightened down enough. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. All right, on me. On me. Very nice. I thought I had the top screwed all the way down, but I did not. So yeah, no battery rattle, just errors on my part. I was like super disappointed for a second. This thing hits like a ton of bricks. I'd love that. Not getting a whole lot of crackle, but I've noticed that with certain coils in the Drift. I think it's just the way that the airflow is, kind of cuts down on the crackle from a lot of the coils. At least the sound. Like I can feel it crackling, but I don't hear much of it at all. Man, that hits so good. And it's ridiculously comfortable. It feels great in the hand. Yeah, I'm loving this thing. So far, at least. I will do probably about a week and a half worth of testing, and then I'll have a full review for this. But so far, pretty damn blown away. It looks absolutely amazing. With the Drift, it hits like a ton of bricks. The switch is so smooth. I'm assuming by looking at the switch, there's no real way to adjust the throw. Could be wrong, but really you don't need to. It's about the perfect. It's very much kind of a short to medium short throw. Dig that. Love it. Price point. YouTube gets on us like crazy for mentioning prices anymore. If you go check out EDC Modz website, it has prices listed. Just do a search for EDC Modz and you'll find their site. For everything you get, it's, to me at least, it's very reasonable. Like I said before, I think they probably could have charged $100 more and they still would eventually sell out of all of them. Man. I really like this. It almost it almost looks like a lightsaber in a way, with like kind of a Norse little logo clip there. Flavor off the Drift is extremely good. That was one thing with the Drift when I got it that really blew me. I wasn't expecting like, you know, extremely good flavor, like flavor you'd get off like a 25 or 24 millimeter atomizer, given it was a 28 and it was a 2-post design. Normally that's just not the case unless maybe you've got one that is kind of undercoil airflow or has some type of really unique airflow. This actually does have really unique airflow to it, and because of the way that those coils are so close to those little ramps, the ramps actually work. If you look at something like the Dani V2, it also has a ramp system, but your coils are so far away from that ramp that the air is pretty much just going straight up. You really have to move those coils over or use larger coils in order for that air to kind of actually hit the sides and the underside of the coil. Not an issue at all with the drift. It immediately hits the underside of the coil coming in there and translates into absolutely amazing flavor. All right, set that down. Let's go ahead and wick up the Dani V2 now that I've talked trash about it. I say that, but I love the Dani V2 and the Dani V3. I almost decided to build up the Dani V3 for this, but I already had these coils in here, so we're just gonna go ahead and use it. What I'm talking about there, it has this little teeny ramp, and the concept is your air is kind of doing that number. But really what happens with this, I've noticed these coils are actually a little high. If I rebuilt this, I would drop them lower, and then I always have them where the edge of the coil is flush with the edge of the posts. So kind of what happens this way when you're taking a pull, coming in, and in the middle here, both these posts are closed off. There's no air getting this way. You get some of the air trapped in kind of that little hallway deal, and you get some bottom airflow. The rest is just kind of coming up, but it skims the side of the coil, so you still end up getting really good flavor off of this. But for the most part, probably want to use 3mm, 3.5mm, or series coils in the Dani V2 if flavor is what you're really looking for. All right, Cloud 9, fresh can of it. So far, with everything going on in Australia, sourcing Cloud 9 has not been a problem. I'm hoping it stays that way. I really like this cotton. It's pretty much Pro Vape cotton, Moza, and Cloud 9 is like all I use. And I cut this way too long. I'm gonna try and save some of this if I can. That I'm late, but love my EDC mod and RDA. I definitely do too, now that I've tried the Ampere21. I can't wait to try it with some other atomizers. I'm very anxious to try it with the Dani here in a series setup. It hits extremely hard. There we go. Try and save some of this ridiculous length that I did. Yeah. Put that off to the side. I don't feel like such a cotton waster. I'm actually probably going to take off a little more. That's too much for this. Like your Muji, there's a lot of people. I know it seems like anybody that mentions Muji, like they're diehard about it, which is great. Anybody that has found what works for them, I'm like, hell yeah, don't listen to me. Do what you do. What works for you, do it. It's just for me, you know, a Moza, Cloud 9, and Pro Vape cotton from BP is just it's lazy cotton. I don't have to try and tear it correctly or tear off little extra bits or anything like that. It's just, honestly, it's a little thin, but if you like crackle, kind of what you want. I also like longevity in my wicks, so I generally wick things a teeny bit thicker. Looking pretty good. So see, your wicks also play a role in this airflow. Once you've got your wicks there, there's no real place for your airflow to go except for straight up or underneath there. So you're still having your main suction come up from the middle. So you do get some airflow that goes underneath there, but a good majority of it's just kind of barely skimming or coming straight up. If the ramp had been longer, it would have worked a lot better in my opinion. All right, for this one, do something different. How about, let's try my Vanilla Bean Dream. Not tried no other, bought 10-year supply of this stuff when I got into rebuildables. Nice. Vaporfly cotton laces are my go-to. I have not tried those, but you're not the first person I've heard say they really like them. See with these, I'm gonna crank this a little bit, being series. So these are 0.32. They're a little high for me. I normally use like 0.3, 0.28. Used to be I'd never go below 0.3, and then Liam at Ohms Coil sent me some series aliens that were, I think one set was 0.26, another was 0.28, and I loved it. So now even 0.32 seems a little high for me. All right. A little bit of drippage. Saturate it a little bit more. And then again, we'll vape on it on this right here. Think about there, airflow wise, ought to do. All right, jump back up top, vape on it on the Vaporworks here for just a minute. Then we will add the stack extension to the Ampere21 and give it a go. Definitely gonna crank this wattage up. Start at 120. All right, so 0.32 series aliens, there we go. Very, very good. Clouds for days out of this thing. I mean, 120, I'd say we're good, but let's do 135. Kind of want cotton to break in a little more before we stick it on the Ampere21. Go ahead, get the battery out of here. Grab our spacer. It is cloudy in the Vaporworks lab, and it's going to get worse here in just a second. All right. Take the drift off of here. Whoop. That threading, man. It is so smooth that just flew out of there. Okay. Take the Dani off here. What an angry sounding build, yeah. Actually, put this on first. Again, threading is just amazing. Tight as can be, no battery rattle. Let's take a look at it in the up close. Oh yeah. Swap this around. That looks sick. I love the way this thing looks. And again, it's not crazy heavy, a lot like the 1111 Reborn in series stack setup is super heavy to me. This is not, even though it's kind of a heavy mech mod, as far as it feels heavy in kind of that quality sense. You know, it's a good, thick, well-made mechanical mod. In series stack setup, it doesn't feel overly heavy. All right. I'm just gonna leave the airflow wide open since we're about to do this. Oh yeah, here we go. That is amazing. My Lord, that hits hard. We keep going with this. You guys are not going to be able to see me by the end of the stream. I'm going to be going through big fog cloud just trying to say bye. Would be great for self-defense. I think you could kill somebody with this thing. You definitely could with the 1111 Reborn. That thing weighs about as much as a baseball bat. In series setup, the button is just as smooth as it is in single battery setup. It's super responsive. I mean, just immediate. As soon as you touch it, bam. In either setup, there's no kind of ramp up time. Doesn't feel like you're getting a little bit of voltage loss and that causes the coils to kind of glow a little bit slower. Anything like it is just immediate. That silver plated copper, I'm so glad that he popped in to let us know. The blind site there in chat that it was silver plated copper. It looked like it, but I didn't want to be wrong, and it actually be just really high polished stainless steel. But yeah, it is absolutely amazing. Thing looks just sick. I definitely want to throw a series build at some point in the Drift and stick it on here, because the Drift just pairs with it so well. It has those same kind of cutout linings. It just looks like, it's made to be together, which coming from EDC Modz, it is. But the Dani does not look bad at all. And the Dani's got the EDC Modz drip tip here on the top. I'm kind of hoping that EDC Modz sells these drip tips individually, like maybe in a few different colors or something like that down the road, because I love these things, especially the Ultim one. It almost looks like amber, the way it has kind of lines in it, almost like imperfection lines. It looks a lot like actual amber. I really dig it. The black one, very nice as well. I would definitely say, as of right now, this probably has become my favorite series stack setup mechanical mod, already. You can take this clip off. There are screws for it. But I'm not going to mess with that tonight. I will mess around with it some before the review, of course. But just for this kind of unboxing and first impressions, I'm really blown away by this thing, guys. Very, very happy. I've been waiting for this thing since like July of last year, June or July, whenever they first started teasing it. And that's kind of when I started talking to them, wondering when it was getting released. I thought initially the Drift and the Ampere21 were getting released at the same time or very close. Grip tips are all hand polished by EDC. To where that look comes from. That's amazing because it looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't have any other. I have a bunch of Ultim drip tips because I'm a big fan of anything that looks like amber. But none of them come close to looking like real amber except for this one. Not a fan of the clip. Pretty sure you can just take it off there if you're not a fan of it. I really dig it. I love the knot pattern in it. But yeah, if you're kind of more of a fan of just a clean, solid, straight look, you know, it might seem a bit off to some. But I personally really dig it. What about the button? Vaporworks lab button, super smooth. Pretty short throw. It's not crazy short, or what some would say dangerously short, but it has a nice feel to it. It's super smooth. There's no grindiness to it. It's not really clicky. It is just very smooth and buttery. Easy to take apart. I don't know. Microwave oven, were you here when I took the switch apart? I don't know when you jumped in. Addy Tooney, what's up, brother? If you weren't, the switch is really... Yeah, they did this custom engraving for me. I love that. It's absolutely amazing. And very, very cool of them to do that. They did not have to do that. It was their idea, not mine. And I love that they did that. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, if you weren't here for the buttons actually, it threw me off at first because I was like, how do I get this apart? So used to, you know, unscrewing switches to get them all apart. But this one is all held kind of together by O-rings. Excuse me. So the contact portion looks like it's Ultim with a copper contact there, held on by O-rings. So you just pop it off. And then the actual switch itself is held in by another thicker O-ring. That took me a minute too because I was expecting I needed to unscrew it. Then saw how thick that O-ring was and was like, maybe I need to take the O-ring out. Luckily, the gentleman, I believe he's with EDC Modz, that's in chat there, said, you know, you got to take the O-ring off. So did that and it just comes apart. It looks like a more standard size O-ring. So like if you bought, say, a small O-ring kit and get them on Amazon, I would say they would have that exact size. Actually, I'm pretty sure I have a kit that has almost that exact same size, which is cool because it means you can replace it. Also, sure, you can reach out to EDC Modz. You also get extras in the package, but it's really easy to take off there without damaging it. So not super worried about that. Just kind of one of those things people think about. Well, what if I break it, getting it off there or taking it apart too many times? Get extras, and I'm pretty sure it's a standard size, so should be easy to find a replacement even on Amazon. But yeah, I like that they did that. It's so simple to take apart. It's almost toolless. I mean, if you can get that O-ring off with no tool, I mean, it's toolless as in you don't need a screwdriver or anything like that. You might need some ceramic tweezers to help get that O-ring off. Other than that, totally toolless. Machining work on this is absolutely amazing. Threading, some of the best threading I've seen in a mechanical mod. Just like the fact that kind of just spin it. Whoop, that probably sounded loud. Sorry guys. But yeah, you can just spin it and it tightens. It's so smooth. All the threadings to this are smooth. I love this thing. EDC Modz, thank you so much. This is absolutely amazing, and definitely thank you for the button. Keep showing it upside down. That was very cool of you guys to do. You did not have to do that. In series setup, man, this thing really shines. Not that it's bad in single battery. I will probably end up using this more in single battery setup, but if I'm like, hey, I want to do a series build, this is probably going to be the first mechanical mod that I think of, more than likely. Get the same feeling when getting an Addy with only O-rings instead of a bunch of BS custom molded gaskets. Yeah. I was kind of thrown off by it at first. But now that I know, you know, how it all comes apart, I really like that they did that. Wow, Chucker, thank you. Yeah, it's very cool, man. Definitely check out EDC Modz. For one, if you don't have the Drift, I highly recommend the Drift. It is an amazing 28mm atomizer. It's gorgeous too. All the engravings that they did in the juice well are gorgeous, and it just works absolutely amazing, even for a two-post design. And I say that just because I'm not usually a fan of two-post deck designs. A lot of times they're a pain in the ass to build on, and they don't end up with very good flavor, or they don't wick very well. But none of those are the case with the Drift. Amazing flavor, easy to build. I mean, I had coils that definitely were probably not really wide enough, but just kind of spread the legs. They went in there fairly easy once I got them all positioned, tighten it down. It's easy to adjust everything. Flavor is absolutely amazing. And the Ampere21, like I said, here in about a week and a half, I'll have a full review of this up on the channel. But first impression wise, I am in love with this thing. Single battery, love it. Love how all the stuff that they send you. You get carrying case for it with all kinds of pockets. I'm definitely taking this on vacation with me because I need something to carry mods around with, especially my mechs. Got the little EDC Modz logo, comes off Velcro. I dig that they just threw that little thing in there because it's kind of cool that I could just take that off and stick it on something else if I wanted to. Plenty of pockets, plenty of straps. Get a shoulder strap with it as well. Then you get, I don't know, I'm assuming you get 2 buttons with the standard version. The silver, or the silvered copper, and then the solid copper. I don't know that for sure, but I'm assuming you get 2. And then mine came with 3 because they did the custom. And then you get 2 extra of those O-rings for the switch. Dig that. So you end up with 3 of them total. The one that's on the button pre-installed, and then 2 extra. There are, looks like, I think these are titanium replacement screws on the inside. I think for the clip. Then you get an extra O-ring for the contact, the Ultim contact portion. So it's all, you get a ton of extra stuff for this. Like I said, that's kind of what, and you get this. It's kind of, you get a card of authenticity that's on the carrying case. This is a coin kind of authenticity. It gives you the serial number. It says Ampere21, serial number on the other side, EDC Modz with the American flag. Nice little copper coin. Really dig that. Just a bunch of cool little extra things thrown in there. All right, so got it all built up. Pretty much told you guys what I think about it as far as first impressions. I'm definitely in love with this thing. I was pretty sure I was going to be, but also I have been like madly in love with a mech mod and then get it and it highly disappoint me. Case in point is the U7 from Alter Ego Creations. When I first saw that thing, especially the clear stainless steel one, had the clear Delrin body wrap, tube was stainless steel, had the nice little kind of purge like bottom side fire button. I was like, I gotta get one of these. And when it came, it's basically a bomb. I've talked about it before. It's the worst mechanical mod I've ever bought. Button sticks all the time, and it will, the button sticks and then it gets ridiculous hot button. I've not been able to figure out exactly why. I did replace the spring to it at one point, and now it doesn't get hot button quite as bad. So I know somewhere in there is where the issue of kind of the voltage and resistance happening is going on, but I've not been able to solve it fully, and I don't trust the button. The button sticks far too much. So it's very, like I said, it's a bomb basically. But yeah, I was definitely in love with that thing on first look. So wasn't really leery with this one, just because I already had the Drift and I knew the quality of work that EDC Modz did. Whereas with Alter Ego Creations, I was also familiar with them and knew their work was kind of up and down. They had some things that were really, really good and some things that were really bad. But yeah, I'm loving this thing so far. Very, very impressed, at least initially. Do some tests, see how it does with different atomizers, different style builds, different batteries. I always like to test that as well. The Modz P45Bs are definitely my primary go-to when it comes to mechanical mods, but people like different batteries, so I always try and test them with 40Ts, 30Ts, P42As, things like that, just to see how it handles different styles of battery, especially with like the 30Ts and 40Ts being just a hair bit longer than the P45Bs, and the P45Bs being a hair bit wider. Yeah, I was afraid that it had that battery rattle, and I just did not screw that top portion down all the way. That was on me. But yeah, all right, so not really gonna end the stream just yet. It's only what, 9:30. Don't really have anything else to build. I'm curious, what are, you know, there's so many new things about to come out. What is everybody really, really pumped for? Because I know what I'm pumped for, but it's pretty much everything, because there's so many things coming out right now. Still on Team Sony VTC because everything else is sold out. I mean, that's another battery that's pretty much like, if you like them, you love them. I honestly have a few issues with the Modz P45Bs. I love them because they're such high amp output, and I think overall they perform better than the 30Ts, but 30Ts last longer. They don't build up internal resistance as quickly as the Modz P45Bs can. With the P45Bs, you can cut that down by not leaving it on the charger. So like, you know, if you're just setting it there and it fully charges, even if it has like that kind of cutoff thing, it bumps or something like that, disconnects and then reconnects, it's just going to try and charge it again. It's going to build up internal resistance to that battery, and that's really kind of what causes it. Also, if you've charged the Modz P45B fully and then you let it sit for a long period of time at full charge, it will build up internal resistance, shorten the life of the battery. So I'm not going to use one for a while. I'll generally charge it up to about 80%, then store it away. And then anytime it's fully charged on a charger, I will immediately try and take it off, just to kind of make sure it's not building up too much internal resistance and ruining the life of the battery. Just kind of a pain in the ass to get them to last anywhere near as long as the 30Ts. But with the 30Ts, I could leave it on the charger forever, and it's still never going to build up enough resistance in a short amount of time to ruin the battery. Have one P45B, so I baby it. We'll keep your advice in mind. Yeah, it will build up some internal resistance. I've got one already that is pretty much done for, and you know, it's not even a year old. But I didn't baby it. I left it on the charger. I let it sit in battery case for, you know, months at a time after I got more of them at full charge, and now I don't do that. Man. So, As far as me, the thing I'm most pumped for coming up, I'd say everybody probably already know, is going to be the Dreamer clutch. Love the Dreamer 1.5. I love the original Dreamer, just it wasn't constant contact. I'm not huge on non-constant contact switches, just for the arcing reason. But with the Dreamer clutch coming, I am super excited for that one. Been waiting for a Dreamer V2 for a long time. Didn't really think it was going to happen, especially with Stan kind of, not necessarily, I guess he did kind of leave the vape world, but I did not think he'd be back around at all. And I'm not 100% sure that Times Vape's Instagram post talking about it being designed by Stan isn't just there being a nod to the fact that Stan designed the original Dreamers, or they're meaning he actually had input and worked on the Dreamer clutch. Hopefully he did. Like I said, it made me feel a little bit better about it. And the fact that it uses that heavy hitter switch, switch, made me feel a little bit better about that if he was involved. Only have P42, P28, P26. You have 4 old VTC 5A that are married for my quad mod. Nice. P42As, I don't think, to me at least, they did not seem to have as bad a problem with the buildup of internal resistance as the P45Bs have. I've got a ton of old P42As from when they first released that I still use, and they work fine. How does the Ampere perform compared to what you normally use? As far as in series setup, what I normally use is either the 1111 Reborn, and this performs better than that does. It hits harder than the 1111 Reborn does in series stack setup. And I like the feel of it overall. I like the switch better. The overall just feel of how the mod feels in your hand, but it definitely hits harder than the 1111 Reborn. The other one, I also have I like to use the Dreamer in series stack setup. This blows that out of the water pretty easily. Then I also like to use the Tarn Max in series stack setup, and that thing hits like a ton of bricks too. But I gotta say this hits harder than that does by quite a lot. Yeah, as far as single battery setup, my primary mech that I use in single battery setup is the Chaos from Silvercraft Creations, along with the Dreamer 1.5 and the Kennedy Ruby 21. I would say in single battery setup, single battery setup, it hits harder than this does. And this is the T6 aluminum, so I'm not really surprised by that. And I don't know, I think I'm one of the weird people that I like bottom fire switches better than side fire, even though side fire, you get kind of less voltage drop. It's more just kind of pure contact, and it just works better. But there's something about a bottom fire switch that I just absolutely love. So I really dig this. As far as the firing switch, better than that. Hits better than that. As far as the Ruby 21, probably comparable. Ruby 21 hits hard. It hits real hard. But so does this. And being silvered copper, I can completely understand why it does. The other one that I use on a regular basis in single battery is this right here. And I will say the 0X hits harder than this does. Shockingly. They're all silver contacts for this, but it's all pure silver contacts. And the 0X and single battery setup hits harder than any mechanical mod I've ever come across. It's like taking a bullet train to your mouth. But I really, really love this mechanical mod. I love this switch too. This switch design I really like. I love the fact that it's just kind of held together by O-rings. Might be some people that don't like that, just because they're worried those are going to wear out, blah, blah, blah. But I dig it a lot. And it's so smooth. I thought when I first was kind of feeling it and putting it back together, it might get grindy, but I don't think that's the case. It's not grindy at all. It's almost like it's not rubbing the sides. It's almost the perfect distance from the side of the fire switch enclosure not to rub. Went to their site, only seen one type. Ampere, what's the name again? I don't know. We might have to blindside if you're actually with EDC Modz. I'm sorry, I'm not 100% sure if you are or not. I don't know if the Ampere21 Midnight Edition has fully been released. Let me look. Okay. No, it has not. All right, so the Midnight Edition has not officially been released on their site yet. You can still get the copper, the stainless steel, and the silvered version of it on their site. But I think sometime this week, I'm almost positive, sometime this week, this will hit their site. I think they're just sending it out right now to everyone that pre-ordered one, things like that. Yeah, the new Dreamer mech looks nice. It definitely does. I love the fact that that bottom button is like some type of ultim or something like that, just to go ahead and remove kind of that hot button issue right off the bat. Because I mean, if it's a very similar switch to the heavy hitter, you know, the lower you go, you're going to get a little bit of hot button eventually. It was just plagued the Dreamer and the Keen. Resin acrylic, nice. That'll do the same trick. I like the look of it too. I just hope that if it's a similar locking mechanism, if it shifts around the way the heavy hitter does, that will kill that mechanical mod for me. I don't care how well it performs or how good it looks. That switch starts shifting around. No shocks, yeah. Fucking Stan talked me into getting involved on Twitter. That sounds like something Stan would do. I'm curious, is anybody like, some shops will have them listed tomorrow in all finishes, nice, but MK is sold out on site. All EDC is limited edition and we don't do rerun. Ah, okay. Well, at least, you know, tomorrow sounds like some sites, I'm assuming maybe Mike's site might have some of the Midnight Edition, but like he said, they do limited runs, everything. Once they're sold out, they don't redo them. So jump on them while you can. Oh, what I was going to say, I'm curious, like, you know, a lot of people hate dot mods. I was talking about this earlier. I'm interested in that dot RDA or dot X RDA. I like the look of it. I'm curious about it. I'll probably end up getting one and reviewing it. I'm not super interested in the AIO V2 or whatever it's called, just because I'm not a big fan of the .AIO format, but I am interested in that RDA. Did not think that .mod would ever release another rebuildable like that again, if I'm honest. I thought, all right, well, they're done. They're just AIO and pod mods, and that's all they're doing from here on out. But then I saw that and figure I might give it a try. Man. What's up, Cicero? I so dig these cutouts. I like this right here as well, where it's the top of the stack section to the base of the single battery segment. I think it looks really cool being right there in the middle. And I dig this knot pattern a lot. That is some very well done engraving. It is such a thick mod. I love it. And of course, the button. I really like their medallion logo. I've gotten it all dirty messing around with it, but I really dig that. Let's take a look at the silvered one up close. Oh yeah, that looks sick. See, that's where your O-ring goes on, and it's super thick, as you can see. Super thick O-ring. For the side, for the diameter, it's super thick. And that's just kind of what holds it inside that switch and casing. I like that approach. Threw me off, but I really like that approach. Yeah. You see my email, Blaze Hours, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I saw your email. I'd already ordered it up. I actually told this story earlier. I'll tell again for those people that weren't here. So I don't know if you guys know Izzy over on Instagram. He's a coil maker. He hit me up. I pretty much talk to Izzy like every day. And he hit me up and said, hey, it's on Element Vape. And he sent me a link. And I looked at it and I thought something was wrong because it was half the price. I'm not going to mention the price just because YouTube, but you guys, if you've looked on Element Vape or anywhere else, you know generally what the price of the Blaze AIO is. Cut that in half, and that's what Element Vape had on there. That's the price tag they had on there. Cicero, brother, thank you so much for joining as a member. That's awesome. I appreciate it so very much. But yeah, I saw that, so I put it in my cart, ordered it up, and I thought maybe they changed their mind on what the pricing structure for this thing was going to be. And then not 8-10 hours later, they had changed it. They did not reach out to me and say, hey, we messed up. Because, I mean, they'd already charged me for it. Anything like that. They just went ahead and packaged it up and shipped it out to me for half of what it's actually worth. And I was kind of like, I sort of got one over on Element Vape, but it was the price that was listed. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming that was a mess up of somebody over at Element Vape listing the new items on their site. But yeah, I ended up getting it for half the price. Pretty much by accident, just because Izzy pointed it out to me so early. But yeah, like I said, hours later, they had changed it. I don't know how many they sold at that price point. How did you come to know about the internal resistance changes on your batteries? I've got a charger that shows me the internal resistance on the batteries. And then Battery Mooch had a little article that he did about the monocells and the kind of internal resistance building, not storing them at 100% charge, things like that, that causes them to build up internal resistance. So I just kind of went on the guy that, you know, I know of that knows the most about batteries, and also just keeping track of the internal resistance on the charger that I have. I've got an X-Star, cannot think of the the model number, but it shows you the internal resistance. It does an internal resistance check every so often. Yeah, I stuck with P42As because I tried the newer Samsung 50s, but didn't find them as powerful. I have not tried the Samsung 50s yet. I have not tried those out, but I like Samsung's battery. Samsung has I think the most durable batteries. Them and Sony, as far as they just last and last and last. I've got 6 30Ts. I can't even remember when I got them, and they're fine. They're years and years old, and they are fine. But the P45Bs are my go-to when it comes to mechanical mods. I like the 30Ts, but the P45Bs outperform the 30Ts on mechanical mods, in my opinion. Yeah, I got 2 for like half the price. Yeah, I guarantee there's a lot of people that did if they saw it. Coil, what's up? Hello. Yeah, I'm wondering how in trouble somebody got, or if it was like, you know, some places do like secret sales where they post something without announcing it and they charge way less on it just to see, you know, kind of get word of mouth and get people to be like, oh no, it's this price, go over here now. And then by the time everybody checks, it's already the other price. Also on a different subject, looking at your Twisted Tart slushy, but cannot get Loran oils concentrate here in the UK. Can you suggest an alternative for tart and sour? I mean, there's a few. I really like Loran's tart and sour because it's sour. Well, I mean, it's not really sour in vape form because that's impossible, but it's super tart and it's sweet all at the same time. But Flavora's Tart Blast would work if you can get that. It's just something, Tart Blast, something you want to use really low, like 1/4%. I'd say 0.5% at most. It's very citric acid as opposed to, you know, malic acid or anything like that. I don't know. A lot of people used to rave about TFA's tart and sour, but I don't think it really does anything. I think it brightens fruits a little bit, but if you pump it up to where it gets to a point, it's actually somewhat, you know, tart and almost mimics sour in a way. It starts to mute everything. I am a big fan of Liquid Barn Sour. I don't know if you can get that or not. I think you probably should. It's at Nom's. Well, I don't know if it's at Nom's, but they sell Liquid Barn stuff. But yeah, Liquid Barn Sour, I really like. The only thing with it is it's 100% malic acid suspended in water. So some people get a vinegar aftertaste to it. I don't at all. I think it works great. But there are a lot of people that get kind of a vinegar note from malic acid kind of in vape form. So yeah, Tart Blast, Liquid Barn Sour. I would not use Powerful Sour. That stuff is gross from Capella. You could try TFA Tart and Sour. That's, you know, that's kind of a lot of people's go-to. I don't know if it'll work quite as well as Loran's Tart and Sour. But like I said, if you can get Flavora, Tart Blast will do the trick. Just keep it at like 1/4% to 0.5%. Some people I've seen are even using it at like 0.35, 0.4. It's kind of that touchy. But it's very, very good at tartening things up. But I can attest to the Sony Murata's lasting. Even in e-bike batteries, they destroy the competition. Don't even need to balance them often or at all. Yeah. Like I said, I think Sony and Samsung pretty much blow everybody out of the water as far as longevity of their batteries. Man, this is good. I'm going to swap back over to the Drift and single battery setup. I can't get over these threads, man. It's very It's very Silvercraft Creations. MCM kind of threading. Just buttery smooth. They're big threads. I love that. And they flow. That's probably the best word for it. They just flow. You can just kind of spin it and let go, and it will get a few turns in before it stops. And it's the same way with the threading for the 510. So like, you know, if I just kind of turn it, it'll sit there and keep spinning for a second. So I almost like threw the damn drift across the room when I was taking it off, because I was just unscrewing it like I would, you know, most mechanical mods that I use on a daily basis. And the threading was just so smooth it came flying off there. I about sent it across the room. Here, let me show whoever has not seen, get out of the way, water, the switch real quick, just to show it again. Might as well. So I love this switch. You got this piece, copper contact, and it's just held in by O-ring. Ultim piece, copper, it just pops out. So if you wanted to swap over to the silvered button, easy just to push the new contact in. With this, I'm not going to take it out again, but you can see that big fat O-ring. You just take it off, and then the switch falls straight out. And then there's those big beefy threads. They just feel ridiculously smooth. Big fan of this switch. Like I said, it threw me off at first because I had no idea how to get it apart. But turned out to be ridiculously simple. And like I said, pretty much a toolless switch. You know, like the Kennedy Vindicator switch is a toolless switch. You don't need any tools to take it apart. This, no, this is silvered copper, silver plated copper. Oh, not that one. Yeah, it's all silver. I wasn't sure at first. I didn't want to say it. It looked silver to me, but I did not want to say for sure. And then the gentleman in chat from EDC Modz said, no, it's silver plated copper. Man, that's good. I cannot wait to try some other atomizers on this as well. I love the drift on it, and it looks just damn near perfect. Too much other stuff. There we go. Yeah, it just looks damn near perfect with the drift on it. Definitely made for each other, obviously. Extremely good. These interlock aliens from Ohm's coils are extremely good as well. All right, need to make sure I do not lose the spacer. Part of me was almost hoping it was the one thing I really dig about the 1111 Reborn is that the stack section, the spacer's built into it. Like, it's just there. It's part of it. I love that. I wish there were more stack sections that did that, because I think that's very cool. You don't have to worry about losing a spacer or anything like that. Granted, you can always just use magnets, but it's very nice to have the spacer built in. All right. Oh yeah. I see you get, I don't know, it's not, these coils are not crackling as much as they normally would, probably because now they're somewhat spaced the way I had to stretch them out a little bit. That's what she said. But they're still hitting hard as hell, and flavor off them is absolutely amazing. I really love this thing in single battery setup. It's super comfortable. It's definitely beefy feeling, but it's not overly heavy. Love the look of it. Same shit I've been saying the whole time. Don't know if I will find any caveats to it or not. We'll see after some testing. I'm going to assume if I find any caveats, it's probably going to be how it interacts with other atomizers or other builds. Because just from tonight, I don't really have any idea about cons to this thing. Everything is pretty much this huge pro. Silver plated copper. Got what looked like Altum or maybe some type of Delrin lining on the inside of both tubes and on the underside of the 510 top cap. Caveat, unscrew the Addy hard enough. Yeah, that's one. If you try and unscrew your atomizer too fast, the threading's so good it will just fly off into the other room. Top one, great deal you got there. Super wish I was on that, on the ball. I mean, it sounds like there's still going to be some available. They're just, you'll have to get them from the other sites. I would say like Mike's. I don't know about Timmy's site. I know he had a lot of the drifts, or yeah, he had a lot of the drifts on his site for a while. He might still have some. I don't really know. I haven't looked. I don't know if he's getting some, but I would imagine definitely Mike's site will have some. Yeah, it has insulated liner, the stack section and the standard and the regular tube. This thing is hella well made. I gotta say, I'm having a real hard time deciding. I mean, I'm not going to decide just because, honestly, I won't decide because I don't really care. But if somebody asked, I guess, I would have a hard time deciding which one of these two I like better. Because I love the Chaos. It would probably land on this unless I just find some weird hiccup to it. Basically because this is a bottom fire switch, which I like better than side fire, and it's silver plated copper, whereas that is T6 aluminum. Although people tend to rank aluminum at the bottom incorrectly, where honestly aluminum actually is a better conductor. Now we're talking about pure aluminum. Pure aluminum is a better conductor than even brass. T6 being, you know, an alloy, a little bit less than that, probably comparable with brass, I would say. But I've got some brass mechanical mods that hit hard as all hell. Chris, what's up, brother? So yeah, I'm super pumped about this thing. When they hit me up, because like I said, I've been talking to him since June or July last year. Wanted this thing. I actually wanted to order the Drift and the Ampere21 and just pay for them both right off the bat. Even when they told me, well, it's going to be a little while before the Ampere21 hit, I was pretty much like, I don't care. Let me just go ahead and pay you now, and then as soon as it comes out, ship it to me. They didn't let me do that. But they ended up sending this one on to me because he asked, basically, when the Ampere21 was about to hit, he asked, EDC Modz asked which one I was interested in. And I was interested in the silvered one for sure, but I really like Cerakoted black mech mods, especially in tube mods, so really wanted the midnight, and I figured it was probably going to be the last one released just because it has to go through that Cerakoting and curing process. So knew it was going to be even longer, so I've been waiting on this mech mod for what, year and a half, but it definitely was worth the wait, that's for sure. Again, like I said, unless I find something weird, but I seriously doubt I will. All right. What about Boros? We hadn't talked about Boros. I still feel weird talking about him. I was like just shitting on Boros back in December. And really, what happened there, why I wanted to shit on Boros so hard back in December, was everything that was coming out was that RTA-like style, you know, Boro bridge tank. And I don't like most of those. There's a handful that I do like, but for the most part, I just know there's not enough flavor behind them. Some of them that I've heard people say, oh, it wicks fantastic. It does not, unless you're just taking a pull, maybe, you know, one pull, setting it down, a few minutes later, coming back, taking another pull. But if you're like me and maybe you're reading the news on your phone and you're just doing this number, no. There are some that do wick great, but not many in the RTA like camp for me, at least. But that's another thing, microwave. I don't like MTL, so I just, you know, it kind of was not my thing. No Nom Noms has that. Try Liquid Barn, then thanks very much. No problem, man. Yeah, just I would test Liquid Barn Sour with maybe just do like a strawberry flavor and Liquid Barn Sour. See if you get that kind of vinegar note from it. But Tart Blast, you shouldn't. It's pretty much just straight citric acid is what it tastes like. It almost has a lemony type of taste to it, but it works really well at tarting things up. But yeah, MTL, I'm not a big fan of. Restrictive direct lung, I like fine. But I really like, you know, more of a direct lung, and Boros don't really do that too well. Some of them do, and those are kind of the ones that I like with the RDTA style Boro bridges. They do more of a direct lung pull, or, you know, at least a slightly more open, restrictive direct lung pull. It's almost direct lung. And then the mesh ones to me pull off a direct lung better than most other Boro bridges out there, especially the Ponte. Ponte will definitely give you a direct lung pull, amazing flavor. It wicks great. I really want to actually take these stainless steel wicks out and replace them with mesh wicks and see how well it does. Because the, I about called it the Ampere. Atemporal with its mesh wicking rods works fan-fucking-tastic. Same with the Tita X RDTA. It has those big fat mesh wicking rods, and they work so amazingly well. So yeah, might try that at some point. But as long as I stick to the mesh and the RDTA style Boro bridges, I've actually been really enjoying it. The device side of it, form factor, customization, is right up my alley. I love that. It's just there's so many Boro bridges that disappoint me. But as long as I stick to the ones I know I kind of like, and it's not that I'll never review a RTA like, I mean, I'll have a review for this, which is very much an RTA like. It either needs to be something that catches my eye or just comes really highly recommended by people that I trust that have a very similar taste in vape to me. That's how I ended up with the Blaze. Was not going to get it. And then a couple of friends of mine were like, hey, no, you need to try this. This thing is right up your alley and you just don't even know it. Dual AFC version of the Atemporal that came with the Zion looked promising. It is. It's very good. I don't know where I put it. think I must have it over there on one of the Addy stands. But yeah, I love that one. Especially, it works great in the Xeon, but also like any open face mech Boro, it works outstanding. The 21700 Slim Fit Boro mod from Voorhees Customs, the atemporal dual airflow works amazing. Dusty Country Roads, you have a good night, brother. Take it easy. Actually, I think I'm about to call it a night as well. I don't really have much more to talk about or show off without, you know, busting something else out and building it. I gotta say, I do want to say one thing. This right here, I sort of shit on this mod in a review. It's the Fode or Fode from MK Mods. It has somewhat grown on me. As long as I build low enough with this thing, and actually I have a different sled in here now. A buddy of mine built a solid silver sled for this. The other one, they say it's silver. It's definitely, I don't even know if I would call it silver plated. It's maybe silver foiled, because it just flaked off of the thing. And it's the same with the tightening wheel. I get little flakes of it that come off and you can see the copper underneath. But he redid the sled for me and now it's just pure silver and it works so much better. And I actually have come to like this. I love this body. Like I said, it was a terrible comparison when I did the review. But if you're older like me and you might have grandparents that still had actual ivory and you know what that feels like, which is terrible because, you know, where they get ivory, it's awful. But you know what, you know, non-treated ivory feels like? That's what this mod feels like. And for some reason I like that. That's terrible, but yeah, I like it a little better now. All right, guys, that's it. I gotta call it a night. I've got to crash out. Pound Chucker, brother, take it easy. Favorite bridge to date, Cicero? Easily the atemporal from Damn Vape. Probably the dual-sided airflow one. Second would be the Ponte. Vaping the perfect cover for attaining Bullen. Thanks for the build. Catch you later. Wish Tony B would realize Pulse AIO Pro in America. The original Pulse 21 with a metal frame. They're all over Asia. I want him to do a Pulse V2 21700 or Vandy Vape. Not necessarily Tony, but I want Vandy Vape to release a Pulse V2 21700. I have not gotten the Pulse V2 because it's 18650. And the whole draw of the Pulse for me was the fact it was 21700. I never touched the Mini or anything like that. I didn't care about it being 18650. So yeah, I probably won't touch the V2 until they do, or unless they do a 21700. All right, guys, that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you everybody for coming along. Cicero, thank you so much for joining as a channel member. Very much appreciate that. Definitely check out the Ampere21 Midnight Edition or any of the other ones. Absolutely amazing mechanical mod. I'll have a review for this up here in about a week and a half. Yeah, that's it, guys. All right, I'm out of here. Vape on, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
I saw you dancing like